A lot of the times when I think of something that I want to talk about, it's usually prompted by something I see on social media, like specifically Instagram. And I'm like seeing these like I think I've mentioned before, but this like genre of reels that's like this like self-help kind of world. And one thing that I was particularly thinking about, both because of what I found, both just what I was thinking about, is this idea of when, I already talked about when do you become lovable, but taking that a step further of like, are you a burden? When do you become a burden? And like, how do you let people into your life? And is it okay to let people into your life? And like, there's a lot of things going around all the time, weaponizing and utilizing therapy speak, as they say, that's like, set boundaries and hold your ground and, don't let yourself get walked over and like those kinds of things. And like, makes sense. I get that. But I think a lot of the times these posts, even though they're in good faith, I think there's a bad precedent that can be set about convincing someone that they have to do it all alone and that they have to fight whatever it is that they're going through alone and that they have to figure these things out and deal with these problems, and then they can enter into the world and then they can be loved. And it's so interesting to me because it feels like the reverse of what you would want in a world that's, destigmatized mental health and wants to center conversations around mental health and things like that. And yet we use therapy speak and create these, cute Instagram posts that kind of tell someone that's struggling with something that, like, if you try to talk to someone about it or you try to reach out and get help, that you're like pushing a boundary or like, asking too much, or you're becoming a burden, you're trauma dumping. I also hate that term, honestly. And it's like there's something being lost here. I think that there's community and connection that's being lost when we focus so intensely on this like independent attitude of like, I'm doing my own things, I'm busy with my own things, so don't put your, shit onto me because I got other things in my life. And in some ways I get it. You can't expect so much of someone. You can't rely and become codependent on someone. But I truly do think that we should be seeking community and seeking relationships in our life and allowing ourselves to rely on those relationships. It's okay to need things, and it's okay to want things out of people. It's okay to have a friend or a partner or a family member in your life and ask them for things and ask for their support. That's okay. You're allowed to have that because you're human, and not only do you deserve connection, but you're human and you have things you're dealing with that I don't think you should have to face alone. And so I think it's really dangerous if you're someone that's struggling with depression, anxiety, whatever it may be, and you see these posts that are basically saying, don't come to me, don't try to form a relationship with me until you've completely healed that. I think that's just wrong for so many reasons. One of them being that a lot of these things don't just go away or vanish. You don't just reach a point where you're done with depression or anxiety or OCD or body dysmorphia or like whatever it is that you're struggling with, whether it's some kind of trauma, something you're going through. There's a lot of things in life that you don't really just get over. I mean, you learn to deal with things, you learn to be okay with things, and you learn how to live in spite of it. But you're never going to just wake up one day and be like, all right, that's done, that's solved. Mental health isn't, and not just mental health, but even just life in general, a lot of times isn't a chore, to-do list. You don't just get to check the box and say, I did the laundry today, I did the dishes today. That's how that works for chores and things like that. It's not how that works with self-care and general mental and physical well-being. And so I'm going to be insistent with this and say that I think you should not do it alone. I think it is okay to ask for help. It is okay to need things and to need things from the people in your life. And going a step further in that, when I'm thinking about where I'm at in my life, is allowing myself to be loved and allowing love to enter into my life. Because I think if you are struggling with something and you spend your life saying, I can't let this love in until I fixed it, you're denying yourself a lot of opportunity, a lot of kindness, and a lot of humanity. Because I believe that a big part of being human is connection and relationships, and that if you don't have that, you're denying yourself the thing that makes you human, and that's never going to work out in the long run. So I think that you should do it. You should not do it alone. You should do it with the help of others, and have grace and patience for yourself, and be kind to yourself, and allow for people to enter into your life that want to be in it. Do not push people away just because some Instagram post has told you that you need to have it all figured out, just because you might have emotional baggage. We all do. We all got things that are wrong with us. We all got problems we're dealing with. And the only way that you're going to be able to tackle that and reach a state of fulfillment and self assuredness is by allowing love into your life.